Get in, nerds. We are playing Hearts of Iron 4. It has been a minute since I have recorded episodes for this run, so we're gonna work on that. Um, we're still kind of in a goofy situation over here. I'm gonna continue to not pay attention to that. I am noticing one thing, which is that I actually have the ability, now that China is in our faction, I now have the ability to support an attack on Japan, but because China is trying to consolidate all their stuff, um, I now need to be a little bit more conscientious about that because I've got a bunch of troops over here. I need to make sure that I don't lose all of this, that I don't lose China, because Guangxi Click is pushing somewhat here, and that's a significant threat. So I think first of all, I'm going to grab this army, and I'm going to stop reinforcing this side of the situation, and I'm going to focus on reinforcing over here. My goodness, what is this? This huge salient here. That's not ideal. So yeah, we'll do a shift that way. I think we're mostly okay in the south, but I want to make sure that I don't wind up in a nasty situation, and I want to make sure that we hold these coastal areas. So I'm going to, because this is my supply line through here, so I'm going to move those units there. Now, I don't have a national focus set currently, so let's get started on that. I want to get the Lions of the Great War. That is really good. It's extra experience gain, division defense, and some free army experience. None of that's that super great, but the extra defense and war support are really good. So I'm going to grab Frontier Force. This doesn't do a whole lot for me, but it's nice. Got some military factories available. Again, we've just started, so none of this is real. This will go away in a second. What do I want to spend this on? I think I want to spend this on... I've got 6 factories available. Let's produce more mechanized. I think that's going to yield really strong dividends. I got special projects available. None of the stuff that I really want. I want to get the axial jet engine once that's available. Speaking of which, now that I'm thinking on it some... Alright, sorry. What were we doing? Now that I'm thinking about it some, I think I may be able to design myself a new plane. So let's get started with that. Let me see. I need a new fighter. Okay, I've got jet engines available. So what are these? These are reduced range, extra max speed, and extra agility. Thrust 25, fuel usage 3. Fuel usage is kind of a non-question for me at this stage. Thrust 25 versus engine 4 is thrust 30. Extra max speed. You know what? I maybe don't want jet engines, because jet engines reduce my range, and I definitely don't want to have my range reduced. But they're also lower in... Maybe I'll leave that be for now, as we get going along here. So, let's talk a little bit about the situation in Germany. We need to capitulate Germany. Once we've capitulated Germany... Yeah, they're 85% towards capitulation. I think we can get there just by grabbing Linz, Wells, eventually Wien, and then Graz. I think that'll probably provide all of the VPs that we need. I don't think we're going to necessarily need to take this territory, but if we do, that's going to be completely on the Allies. I'm not going to participate in that. Oh my goodness, the Soviet Union has just surged forward. Wow. Okay, so Soviet Union's going to end up getting Romania and Hungary, and that's going to be kind of everything over here. And then Italy, I think Italy is basically unable to avoid collapsing at this stage. So, let me see. Where is my mechanized force? My mechanized force is... have done goofed up their fronts. So, let's get them focused down here. And one other thing, my war support's a little low at this stage. So I'm going to exhort heroism. That's going to cost me a bunch of political power, but it's worth it. So let's give our units a second to reorganize themselves on this front. Because all my units appear to have moved north. Now, a day has gone by. Where are we with trade? We're doing fine with trade. Beautiful. I'm so very pleased. How are we doing with logistics? Not bad. We're actually positive on mechanized, which is a surprise and a welcome one. Now, Ordnance Factory Kanpur, that's our artillery designer. Extra production efficiency gaining cap, that seems okay. And we can get the same thing here, and once we got all those, yeah, we get defense, breakthrough, and reduced cost. Yeah, alright, so I think whichever direction we go through all these bonuses is basically a non-question. So I'm just going to go ahead and start there, and then we'll get going. Now, speaking of getting going, I think once this enemy division redeploys here, there we go, we'll just get moving forward into an attack on this province. And similarly, we'll get an attack started over here, and one here. This one looks like it's not really getting anywhere. We'll do another. Is this an over-river attack? It is an over-river attack. Alright, so we'll bring in another division to attack not over the river, and that'll help things out considerably. Allies are pushing through here. Brazil blockades oil shipment. Brazil has taken the bold and outrageous step of completely blockading capital warships. To completely blockade. Capital warships have been sighted outside Caracas, and I see. We got a missing variable here. A variable has failed here. Brazil has taken the bold and outrageous step to completely blockade Venezuela. Capital warships have been sighted outside of Caracas, and the Venezuelan government has supposedly been informed that a full blockade has been enacted to stop oil trade between the two countries. A clear violation of the neutrality. Alright, we'll see what happens with that. We are through here. So that is a fortified state. Let's take a quick look at how things look pushing forward here. They're looking not ideal. Yeah, as you can see, we're getting a huge fort penalty to attack here. So, I'm going to pull back this attack and have these units move through here. This is the Sudeten German territory, and that territory it was held by Czechoslovakia for a lot of recent history. And the thing about that is that the Czechs built huge fortifications in the area, and that ended up being the right call long term because the Germans were definitely going to attack through there. Alright, let's go ahead and close out this pocket here. And that was why I attacked here, so that I could close out that pocket. Let's take a quick look at the air situation. Air situation's a little weak in the Alpine region, so let's go ahead and transfer a few air forces to be serving that region. And this should be enough. Let's grab a few of our casts and do the same. And that'll just allow us to build up some extra damage. In fact, I think we can bring more casts into the Alpine region, because that's where most of our combats are currently taking place. Are we able to get in around here? Yes! We've successfully gotten behind them. That's very good. We've got units... We should have units moving in here to defend. Let's go ahead and support that attack there. Beautiful. We are through. We'll go ahead and get an attack started here. This unit can go that way. This unit can go that way. And we'll just pin these two units down. The attack against this unit is going just fine. Send more mech forces in there. We'll send more infantry into this mountain. Beautiful. Got this enemy unit encircled here. So that is wonderful. Our 2 mech units are defending here. That infantry unit is toast. Beautiful. Now, I think taking some of these forts is the right call. Just in terms of, is this unit protected by a fort? Doesn't appear to be. Looks like we're just taking a long time attacking there because of the mountains. Mountains, Gandalf. Shift the axis of this advance this way. Obviously, we've got a lot of infantry moving into support. I might be able to get in around behind. It's a risky move. No, looks like that's not going to happen. We'll keep defending there. So when these 3 units get into the area, I'm going to have this one go forward. This one attack here. This one, maybe attack here. We'll see how that goes. Actually, no, I'm going to have this one go through forward to here. Because I think I want to get as close to Wien as I can get, and also get these units pinned down so that they can't move into reinforced Wien. Because once we've got Wien, that's the end of the... That's it for Germany. Wow, this unit is really, really holding out over here. Alright, it does appear that Wien has defenders, which is fine. Let's go ahead and knock on their door, shall we? Alright, these units will press forward. How's supply through here? Supply, do we have a supply hub anywhere near here? We do, but the railway is really, really small. Railways are generally quite problematic in this zone, this area of engagement. Let's quickly build a railway link through here. Build that up to... Oh no, all these are level 1. Well, there's your problem. Okay, I guess we got some railway choke points in those areas. Alright, so... should be at the top of the repairs. Golly, I sure am doing a lot of repairs. Probably should have checked all this beforehand, but it is what it is. This front is closed out now. Or will be very soon. There we go. So all these units should be redistributing over to this front. And that will be just fine. My infantry is taking their sweet time getting into the action there. But that is what it is. How is the air game going? Air game is still not going as well as it could be. So let's grab a few more of our fighters and redeploy them to the Alpine region. See, this is why having fighter range is so very, very important. Hey! Shot down an enemy ace. Wonderful. I'm just trying to build up enough attack there. Actually, no. We need to attack here. Because that'll help us get into Wien, and that's our core goal. Our core goal. Alright, you, sir, you can attack here. How close is Germany to surrendering? They're at 89%. That's not as much as I was hoping. Is this core? Well, there's not many VPs in the Sudeten area, so that's okay. Let me quickly take a second to...
Hey, come on.
End these 2 fronts on Netherlands. I know it looks like they're going to steal our territory because they're copying our national colors, but that's just silliness. Let's now that we've got an American division here, let's go through, send our mobile infantry in here to grab Graz. War support is looking okay. It's not the greatest, but we haven't taken that many combat casualties. And boy howdy have we dealt a bunch to Germany in return. So, we'll keep smashing forward into Wien. Hopefully that'll solve our problem. I don't think this territory is core... This territory might be core German, actually. this is looking a little sketchy. I may pull some forces over here just to... You know what? Let's do that.
अपनी जगह लो होशियार
Just pull some forces over there just to make sure that we get that closed out. Alright. So Vienna's now ours. That's like 30 VPs or something, right? Hey, let me look at the province. Let me look at the province, you goon. Yeah, that's 30 VPs. So this might just be a German surrender right here. No. Interesting. But they're now at 97%. So, is the plan from here to just kind of bash forward? I think we need to close out this situation. Obviously, Wien's our primary supply hub here at this point. There's another one in Graz. Any quick VPs I can get over here? I can get one here. What about in this area? If I go this way, Jena is 2, Karlsbad is 3, Aussig is 1. So yeah, let's do an infantry assault this way. And we'll go forward here. I don't think Germany has any ability to resist a reasonably constructed offensive over here. But obviously we are now attacking with infantry, so we need to be careful. And are these Sudeten fort territories? They are. But it looks like we are winning in most of these attacks, so I'm moderately optimistic about how things will go. Computer's being a little silly. Oh, this might be Germany's surrender or something like that. On the other hand, it might also be... Nope. It's just the music player. It's just the music player having itself a dickens of a time. All right, these units can move forward towards Jena. This unit can move forward towards this province. Again, if we can achieve a little cutoff, we can have a good time. And I always love having a good time. Full. Smash forward this way, smash forward this way, smash forward this way. Is this a Sudeten fort territory? It is. Oh, all of this is Sudeten fort territory, so... Well, we are winning. Moving in here, so I'm feeling... I think we can actually do this. Obviously with India stepping in. Germany is no match for Indian might. Election. Wartime exception. India is in a state of war. Normally an election would be held at this time, but being in the midst of an important conflict, many argue that cannot afford to spend time on political Normally an election would be held in this time, but being in the midst of an important conflict, many argue that we cannot afford to spend time on political campaigning or a change of leadership if that should come about. Meanwhile, others claim that declaring the ongoing war a valid reason for skipping elections is the first step towards eroding Indian democracy. After all, letting military matters take precedence over the people's influence could be a slippery slope. Elections will be held as usual, minus 5% stability. I'm not excited about that. We can take care of such matters when the war is over. Extra support for communism and fascism, extra stability, extra political power. I'm actually going to do the same thing as I did last time, a second time. The January 1st election will not end up happening this time around, but, you know, we'll get our war finished and we'll do it. The extra stability is so good. It's just such a good thing to have that the temptation is absurd. I'm going to need more infantry equipment because I'm attacking with infantry now. How are we doing with support? And support we're just golden on. I think artillery we could use a little bit more. So that will be just fine. Support, because it doesn't have subsequent iterations, never loses efficiency growth, and that's why that ends up being... that's why you end up having a whole lot more support equipment than you do everything else. Let's just go ahead and update our planes. Resources are looking rock solid. And we've still got some major training going on. Yes, we do. We have a bunch of units in training. We've got a hex with a victory point here that I can grab. So let's go ahead and grab it. Alright, now, we've successfully closed out this front. This side of the front. I'm going to once again transfer the forces over to the side of the front that's pointed at Germany. Created a little pocket of, let's see, it looks like Polish territory over here. That's fun. And how are we with victory points? We gotta be close at this point, right? Where are they? 100%. Oh, all right. So that'll be the end of. Germany will collapse at the end of today, and there it goes. So we've gotten a lot of equipment. We're still holding all of this territory. The Soviet Union is holding a bunch of territory. This is okay. So I do need to take over the rest of this territory. Ditto with Hungary and Slovakia. Sorry, I had a reading challenge. And this is the German puppet Poland, and this is real Poland. They're in the Allies, and then we got a bunch of Soviet territory here as well. That should increase our war participation, right? We're still at 21%. UK is still above us, which I don't much care for. But we're higher up than the Soviet Union. Heck yes! Oh my goodness. That's amazing. So what do we have? We have Soviet Union at 19% participation. UK at 31%. United States at 9% and us at 21%. So this is China at 5%. So this is 25, 35, 65, 66 really, 7, 8, 9 for Free France. And then 19 for the Soviet Union. I guess a bunch of these are adding up to tiny amounts. And that's why those numbers look wonky. And then all this is Yugoslavian territory. But there's this area down here needs to be cleaned up. So, let's get forward taking out these German units. And let's get moving forward into Hungary here. Now, this is a front, but it's a front with the Soviets, which is curious. The Soviet Union has control over here. Oh boy, this is a real hairball here. What we're going to do, I think, is we're going to reorganize these armies some. So first, Blue Army, you're going to be on the Sudeten territory, and you're just going to push that through on behalf of the Soviets to get the rest of this stuff here. Now, Mobile Force. No. Purple Army, you're going to be covering... Oh, cripes. Oh, this is ugly. This is so ugly. This territory here. Whole army. Where else are you deployed? Oh, they're deployed over here. Never mind. Purple Force, you can be safely ignored. You guys can be... Oh, I'm so good at things. So good at video games. Alright, so... Purple Force will not be part of this. Red Force will get you in here. We'll get a few units covering this territory. That ended up being much longer than intended. Hold on. There we go. And then there's You've got divisions over in these areas as well. That's fine. Green Force. I'm going to scrap these fronts completely. Green Force will focus entirely on the front with Hungary, on Indian territory. And we'll take a little bit of time to redeploy those units, but not too much, because our ability to move forward right now is considerable. So for example, a bunch of these Blue Army units, I thought I selected the whole Blue Army. A bunch of these Blue Army units could be here. You're... Alright. So that should be fine. Right, and then I've got a bunch of Blue Army units down here. Now I can push forward with these units because Italy does not have anybody really defending this territory whatsoever. So I am going to do that, but I'm going to focus on going forward in Czechia while I can. Hey! Shot down an enemy ace. Excellent. Push forward here. This unit, I think, can just start going. Nice! Taking out another enemy ace. Got red units still going through here. Right. Mobile army. Let's concentrate them on the front with Hungary as well. The enemy does have units here. So I'm going to cross this river to take them out. These units should be destroyed and then pretty safely, and then I can not worry about any of that business to the great extent that I desire to. Let's go ahead and grab Tabor. You're already on your way to Prague. That's beautiful. This unit can move forward to Brunn. I'm going to send this mobile unit forward to Bratislava, and maybe, depending on how many enemy units are over here, we'll just grab the whole rest of Slovakia. Let's move forward here. These are Polish units. I just want to claim this territory before they get it. Beautiful. Alright, so that's fine. That's the Czech front dealt with. Now, the rest of Blue Force up here. They're going to redeploy to Italy. Is that where I want them? I think the answer to that question is yes. Yeah. And I'm going to start microing this advance a little bit more because I have the ability to do so. The Americans are pushing forward into Hungary. That's fine. Again, at this point, we're just sort of clearing out the remainder of action to happen in Europe. And getting as much territory as we can. Getting as much territory as we deserve, because India has played a decisive role in the liberation of Europe. Beautiful, so there's the frontier force completed. I'm going to go ahead and grab the Burma Rifles focus. This isn't going to do much for us, but again, we're on our way to getting that huge bonus. And how are we on time? We are close to the end of the episode, but I think I want to... Is it realistic to expect that I'd be able to finish all of this within the next 20 seconds? I don't think so. Let's go ahead and move red force to a larger front here, just so that we make sure that we're not goofing ourselves, because I don't want to be goofed. I've been goofed before in this game. Goofed myself, really. Alright, we're on our way to Presov. Might be able to take Krakow down here. Hey, that's beautiful. So Slovakia has capitulated. I've got engine fully upgraded. What do I want to spend these other slots on? I don't know that there's necessarily anything. Getting better AA would be nice. That increased the strength of my my immobile AA horses. All right, Spanish division. Excellent, excellent. You get them, Spain.
Come on.
We'll just go ahead and set this as an advance. I think with this advance running, we'll be doing just fine over here. And then with these units here, I can go ahead and safely expand this without a problem. And I can get a bunch of the rest of the red force over here to take this territory. And that'll be fine. And then we got a few divisions coming through here to assist there. So that'll be good. How's the air situation? Air situation is still looking good. I don't have any air forces deployed to Czechoslovakia, so let's get some air forces moving there to make sure that we've got the air superiority that we need in order to succeed in modern warfare. Do I not have any further eastward air bases? Tragic. There's not one like here in Wien? I guess not. There's one here in Hungary. There's a couple here in Hungary, actually. Alright, so we won't need to worry about air over there for much. Let's... Oh, where do I want these units? Let's build ourselves an air base. There's supposed to be a huge one here in Austria. Let's see if it's been destroyed. What is this? Oh, the Holberg Palace. Nice. That's neat. Doesn't look like it. Where's my airbase? Am I crazy? Have the Soviets got it here, over here somehow? Bananas. Alright, well, that might just be a bug. We'll see how it goes. With that having been said, that is all the time we got for this episode. I don't think the war is going to go on much longer now. We got a little bit more to do in Europe. And then, of course, there's Operation Downfall, which will happen here in Japan. And that'll be a fun time. Let's take one last quick look at how the USA's got things going. Okay. The Japanese fleet has been reduced significantly. Obviously, there's a war in China to deal with now, which we will need to deal with. So there's a little bit more to go with this run. And we'll see what happens after that. Final tally against Germany. We have a kill death. For us, we've taken 575,000 casualties. Germany has suffered... Where are they? 3.5 million from us. So that's about 7-1. I'd say 6 to 1. Very respectable. I'm very pleased. I could pursue a much higher casualty strategy than I've pursued, but I think long term it's important to keep casualties low, right? You don't want to end up like the United Kingdom over here at all adults serve, like the Soviet Union over here at all adults serve. I don't know why you're at all adults serve, Soviet Union. You've got 5 million manpower in the pot. You don't want to wind up like, where's the United States at with this? They're still at service by requirement with 4 million in the pot. But they've taken significant casualties as well. There's still a lot of combat going on in these various areas. Alright, that is all I've got time for tonight, my nerds. I have had fun. I hope you all have had fun, and I will see you on the other side.